Welcome back to Today we will learn about the issue shaking Salem as old wounds reopen, loyalties are tested, and a single apology could redraw the battle lines across the DiMera and Devereaux families. Office intrusion. In E.J. DiMera's office, Gwen von Leusner walks in to find Kat Green studying the blueprints for the new hospital wing. A discovery that instantly raises suspicion and ripples through DiMera power dynamics on Monday's episode. Kat diffuses the tension with a quick explanation. She's newly installed as EJ's assistant and is simply unpacking and organizing sensitive materials, which gives her plausible access to documents that others might consider restricted in scope and intent. Beneath the surface, this access places Kat at the nexus of EJ's hospital purchase, a transaction already under quiet scrutiny due to questions about financing and possible silent partners tied to DiMera family intrigues and corporate ambition. Kat's crisis. Kat moves from dodging one professional flare-up to confronting a personal one, deciding she owes Chad DiMera an apology for recent pressure and missteps, particularly around her brother Mark Green's situation before the parole board. The apology is more than etiquette. It is a calculated act to reset trust with Chad after months of emotional turbulence and to soften his stance on Mark's prospects for release, which remain undecided but consequential for the Green family's fragile stability. This moment also hints at Kat's evolving conscience, contrasting earlier conscripted deception under duress with a present-day effort to repair relationships rather than exploit them. Parole pressures. Chad has not finalized what to tell the parole board, but Kat hopes he'll speak favorably for Mark, reframing an adversarial past as a second-chance narrative that could move a divided panel. A lenient recommendation from Chad would carry weight in Salem's moral economy, where personal history often counts as much as paperwork, and it could trigger immediate fallout from those who still view Kat and Mark through the lens of past betrayals. Any shift toward leniency could collide head-on with Jack and Jennifer's protective instincts, setting up a domestic conflict that tests Chad's resolve and his capacity to forgive in the shadow of Abigail's memory. Jack and Jennifer react. Jack Devereaux and Jennifer Horton Devereaux are slated to receive disturbing news, a phrase that plausibly points to Chad's evolving position on Mark or his deepening bond with Kat. Either outcome likely to ignite their profound grief and anger over the Abigail saga. Jennifer's posture has been consistently uncompromising. Kat's presence around Chad and the children feels like an affront to Abigail's legacy, and even the hint of romance strikes her as an intolerable breach of familial respect and safety. Reports across Salem chatter suggest Jennifer could confront Chad directly, escalating from disapproval to outright threats over access to the children if he persists in normalizing Kat's role in their lives. Romance complications. Despite fierce headwinds, Chad and Kat's connection continues to thicken, born from crisis, tempered by apologies, and complicated by the constant friction of Salem's opinions and Kat's proximity to EJ's operations. Kat's remorse over past impersonation, carried out under Clyde Weston's coercion to save her mother, remains a critical layer in Chad's willingness to see the whole person rather than a single unforgivable act, even as many in Salem refuse to extend similar grace. Outside commentary signals that Chad's unease now includes concern for Kat's safety and agency around EJ, particularly as she wades into a high-stakes environment where DiMera deals rarely come without strings or surveillance. EJ's hospital plan. EJ's hospital purchase has raised eyebrows well beyond office chatter, with speculation swirling about whether another power player is bankrolling the acquisition and what their motives might be for inserting influence into Salem's healthcare hub. Theories circulate around longtime DiMera orbiters and rivals who could benefit from research labs, regulatory milestones, or mere leverage over EJ himself, underscoring that the blueprints in Kat's hands are more than architectural. They are a political map of future influence. If Kat is indeed nesting inside EJ's operation as a fixer, aide, or something more complex, every file she touches could double as evidence in ongoing inquiries by law enforcement and intelligence-adjacent watchers tracking DiMera cash flows. Gwen's angle. Gwen's discovery of Kat with sensitive materials does not explode immediately, but it reorients Gwen's vantage point inside the mansion, where returning residents and shifting alliances determine who hears what, when, and how it can be used. Recent spoilers suggest Gwen has been repositioning herself around EJ, Kristen, and the DiMera estate, which makes her impression of Kat's duties and movements a potential lever in future conflicts or negotiations. Given Gwen's own complicated history with the Devereaux and DeMoras, her tolerance for Kat's access is likely practical rather than sympathetic, a calculation based on where proximity yields power. Family fallout. If Chad publicly eases up on Mark Green or formalizes his romantic intentions with Kat, Jennifer and Jack could interpret it as a betrayal of Abigail's memory and a dangerous capitulation to manipulation, served with a side of outrage that may spill into courtrooms or custody threats. Commentary around town paints Jennifer's stance as volcanic and unyielding, reinforced by Julie Williams and other family protectors who view Kat as a line that should never be crossed again. The more Chad attempts middle ground, comforting Kat while promising stability at home, the more he risks pleasing no one and turning an apology into a catalyst for a broader family schism. Kat's remorse. Kat regrets the chaos, and that regret appears genuine, not only as a plea for personal forgiveness but as a recognition that her choices, however coerced, seeded harm that keeps sprouting in the lives of people she now cares about. Her apology to Chad, therefore, is both an amends and a boundary. A promise to do better and a plea to be seen beyond the worst day of her life, when Clyde's threats forced her into a mask she never wanted to wear. In a town where redemption stories are scrutinized and second acts come with conditions, Kat's path forward depends on whether actions, quiet, consistent, and protective, can outlast the noise of scandal. Monday's promise. Even as tempers flare and secrets churn, Chad's response to Kat's remorse hints at a fragile pact. Reassurance that they can weather what's coming, plus the subtext that loyalty, once pledged, is not easily revoked in the face of family pressure. That resolve will be tested by every headline, hallway whisper, and boardroom maneuver tied to EJ's hospital wing and the DeMera family's endlessly contested empire. Monday's episode presses all these threads together. Apology, suspicion, ambition, and love, into the taut space between a door closing and a promise that everything will be okay. Part 2 next. September 8th to 12th on Days of Our Lives. New beginnings, deepening mysteries, and dangerous secrets. Welcome back, dear friends and longtime followers of Days of Our Lives. As we move into the week of September 8th through September 12th, Salem continues to prove that it is a town where joy and heartbreak often walk hand in hand, and where secrets rarely stay hidden for long. This coming week offers us moments of happiness, fresh beginnings, and of course, those classic Salem twists where no good deed goes unpunished, and no secret can remain buried forever. Let us take our time together today to walk through what lies ahead in Salem. A story that touches family, romance, jealousy, lies, and perhaps even a hint of danger that could shake the town to its core. Julie's new chapter at the bookstore. To begin, let's celebrate a truly heartwarming story. Julie, one of the town's most beloved matriarchs, is stepping into a brand new chapter of her life. After years of holding Salem together through tragedy and triumph, she now has something just for herself. She is the proud owner of the bookstore. Owning a bookstore is not just about business. It is about legacy, about preserving stories, and about giving the community a safe and welcoming place to gather. Julie has always had a natural way of bringing people together, and now she has the perfect space to do so. Rumors are already swirling that she may be planning a grand reopening to celebrate this new beginning. One thing is for certain, Julie never does anything halfway. She has already launched a book club, which is proving to be more than just an excuse to discuss literature. This is Salem, after all, where a simple gathering often becomes the spark for larger dramas. Who knows which secrets will slip out during these meetings, or which rivalries might be ignited over coffee and conversation. Julie's big ideas may bring laughter and warmth, but in Salem, happiness always draws challenges. Rachel Black's growing turmoil. But while Julie basks in new beginnings, young Rachel Black is headed in a very different direction. The sweet yet troubled daughter of Brady and Kristen has already shown a tendency to rebel, and now she is facing one of her most difficult struggles. Kristen's prison sentence is longer than Rachel ever imagined, and the reality is hitting her hard. For a child, separation from a parent is painful enough. But Rachel has lived a life surrounded by turmoil, schemes, and betrayals. Without the proper guidance, that pain could easily spiral into anger, resentment, and reckless behavior. The big question this week is whether Rachel will act out, and more importantly, whether she will reveal secrets that were meant to stay hidden. Will Rachel reveal Chad and Kat's kiss? One of the most dangerous secrets Rachel is holding involves Chad and Kat. Marlena, with her steady wisdom, has already told Rachel to stay quiet about what she saw. But anyone who has raised children knows that such a warning is often an invitation to spill the beans. If Rachel does tell someone about Chad and Kat's kiss, the ripple effect will be enormous. Chad is a man still healing from profound loss, and while he has been cautious about opening his heart again, he is clearly falling for Kat. But Kat is not what she seems. Her lies are piling up like storm clouds on the horizon. She has pretended to work with the ISA, and she has targeted EJ, all while hiding her true motives. Chad is a man who has weathered betrayal before, and one wonders whether this new revelation, after all the other lies, will finally be too much for him. Will he close his heart once again, or will he fight for Kat, despite the dangers she brings with her? Brady and Steve closing in on the truth. While Chad wrestles with matters of the heart, Brady and Steve are busy untangling another dangerous web. They are piecing together the truth behind a fake adoption scheme, one that may have life-altering consequences for several families in Salem. Their relentless pursuit of justice and truth is exactly what the town needs right now. But Salem has taught us time and again that exposing one secret often unearths three more. If Brady and Steve succeed, lives could be forever changed. And if they fail, the deception could deepen beyond repair. A sneaky DNA test for Tate? And then we come to one of the juiciest whispers floating around Salem. There is speculation that someone might conduct a secret DNA test on Tate. Fans have already been buzzing with theories, and the most popular one suggests that Aaron, not Brady, could be the real father. If such a test were carried out, the fallout would be nothing short of explosive. Paternity scandals are nothing new in Salem, but each one leaves behind lasting wounds and fractured families. Should the results confirm the suspicions, Tate's very identity would be thrown into question, and the bonds of trust within multiple households would shatter. Sophia's growing jealousy of Holly. Meanwhile, Sophia is growing increasingly jealous of Holly. With Tate and Holly becoming closer, especially now that they are living on campus, Sophia feels her control slipping. Jealousy is a dangerous emotion in Salem. It often leads to schemes, manipulations, and sometimes outright betrayals. Sophia has already shown that she is not afraid to bend the rules to get what she wants. As her jealousy intensifies, it seems almost inevitable that she will start playing dirty. How far will she go to sabotage Tate and Holly's budding connection? And more importantly, will she end up destroying herself in the process? Gwen and EJ. An unexpected alliance? Another surprising twist may be on the horizon with Gwen and EJ. The two have been circling one another for a while, but now it appears that they could be growing closer. This connection could prove dangerous, not only for their personal lives but also for the balance of power in Salem. Gwen is no stranger to deception, and EJ has always thrived in the shadows of schemes and manipulations. Together, they could form a partnership that would shake Salem to its very foundation. Or perhaps they will destroy each other before they ever have the chance. Marlena's nightmares intensify. And then there is Marlena, the heart and conscience of Salem. For years, she has stood as the steady voice of reason, compassion, and strength. But even the strongest among us are not immune to the darkness. Marlena's nightmares are intensifying, and they seem to be hinting at something far more sinister than simple bad dreams. When Marlena dreams, we listen, because her subconscious often picks up on danger long before others see it. These nightmares could very well be a warning that something wicked is on its way back to Salem. The possible return of Dr. Wilhelm Rolfe. That leads us to one of the most chilling possibilities, the return of Dr. Wilhelm Rolfe. If EJ's secret plan includes bringing Rolfe back to Salem University Hospital, then the town should prepare itself for chaos. Rolfe has always been a man of science twisted by obsession. Whenever he appears, Salem finds itself battling not just lies and schemes, but dangerous experiments that blur the line between life and death. His return would not just bring drama, it would bring true peril. Final thoughts. Salem at a crossroads. As we look toward the week of September 8th through 12th, Salem is clearly at a crossroads. On one hand, we have stories of hope, like Julie's bookstore and the blossoming of new relationships. On the other, we have the weight of secrets, lies, jealousies, and nightmares that could drag the entire town into darkness. It is this delicate balance, the joy of new beginnings against the threat of destruction, that makes days of our lives so enduring, even after all these years. For longtime fans, it is a reminder that while the faces may change and new stories may unfold, the heart of Salem remains the same. A town where family matters, where love is never simple, and where every choice carries consequences that echo for generations. So, as we settle in for this next week of episodes, let us prepare for laughter, tears, and a few gasps of shock along the way. Salem has never let us down before, and it seems clear it has no intention of starting now.